he says that this is the beginning, like, and I hear it, and actually, what do I think? I think it's the beginning is Techelet. I think Techelet is having a little bit. It's a very big change because people will need to change their old ways to start wearing Techelet, and this will be the first. But Rabbi Haim
Yeah, but Techelet is not an
think,
issue. In America, a lot of people wear Techelet. In Eretz Yisrael, a
well,
lot of people.
but there's still very close-minded rabbis who don't want to use it. So I do think that the fact that the Jewish people and Jewish rabbis and mystical rabbis are beginning to use Tahalet is it's a good sign that think they are willing to change. And if they are willing to change in this, I think it will be much much easier to start with other changes in the Jewish nation.
Really?
I don't know if that's the Aleph. I think there's much more chashuv, much more important things to deal with before that.
No, I agree with him. You have to make.
But if you start dealing with those things, you will not be able to go too much farther because like
You think
try
so?
making Jews change their way of with treating converts. I don't think it will start working in the near future. I think it will be in 2 3 generations, but we need to start with something. And I think, for example, Tehalet and Kidniot will be something that people will be more willing to accept. And this is the first step. And the last step is constituting the nation in the most real and the indefinite important issues.
Mm-hmm. Let me ask you a question about Techelet, because I've never been so sold on it, because the Rambam says that yes, you have to wear Techelet, but you have to know that you're wearing the right one. He says like the way that you know that it's the right one, that one way is that it doesn't smear off on your clothes. So the rat sinner, they have the cuttlefish. So that's one opinion.
No, I use Betil Tehalet and for the Murex trunculus. And actually, I'm helping to translate those things with the rabbis behind this.
I'm saying in deciding which fish or snail is the actual chilazon, how do you decide on that?
Murex trunculus is the one that most rabbis agree with it, and it actually there's a lot of proofs, and it's very interesting because basically the thing with the Murex trunculus is that they discover that this was the only tie that it was used from the ancient times, and it was prohibited for everyone who is not from the royalty. So basically, that's why it was lost because it was forbidden, and we have the Gemara that says also that there were people who were captured for using tahalet because it was prohibited, not because like a shmata, but it's more because for everyone from all nations that were this dye made from the Murex trunculus had problems, and that's why it was niknas. So like the Midrash says, it was hidden. And there was discovery that it's actually Murex trunculus was used from all times to dye the blue and to dye a steadfast blue, like a dye that it doesn't fade out. And it's actually there's a lot of Aharonim, and also the Yerushalmi also speaks about the Tehalet being the Purpura, which is the name of the Murex trunculus until today in a lot of countries. And there's a lot of proofs that this is the real deal.
Is that the one that comes out first purple, and then when you put it out in the sun, it turns
Yes.
blue?
Yes,
Yeah.
that's right.
I don't see the gula coming from Kitniot and Techelet, but I'm all for Techelet. Although, honestly, I don't wear it just because I don't have it. But if whoever wants to send me a pair... Huh?
No, I'm saying that it's expensive. It's very expensive, the Betil Tehalet.
From Israel, they're not so expensive.
No,
I
it's
mean, if you get
like,
it ordered...
here it's like 200 shekels just for the blue strings.
Yeah, it's like $50.
Yes, that's more or less the price that we have them also.
All right. It's a
But
hit or
yeah,
mitzvah.
I did think because rabbis here in Mexico, even though they are very tough and very close-minded, they start to accept this of the Tehalet. Some of them, some big of them, and I think that's a pretty big step. And I think that's the first step of
Yeah.
more steps.
What I think that the Techeles people don't understand is that they will never be recognized. They will never get the recognition they're looking for amongst the more Haredi circles, and that's because the whole hashkafa, in a nutshell, is my zediatis nishkatian in Yiddish. What I'm saying is my grandfather didn't do it, so I'm not gonna do it, and I don't have a quote unquote Masorah for it. So people like the Gedolim, they call in they are Gedolim, they're big Talmidei Chachamim in Bnei Brak and so on and so forth, will never accept this Techeles because it's not, they don't have they feel like they don't have a Masorah for it, and that's that's the end, that's it, that's there's no ein ma lasot, you know what I'm saying, that's the reality.
Yeah, actually, the way they dress, the way they do now.
Right, that's what I'm saying. I'm saying that's the mahalech. That's what they do.
Actually, I do think that the Haredim, it will start a little bit by little bit to wear it. And yeah, maybe the Gedolim from this generation, no, but I think the future, quote unquote, Gedolim Haredim will start accepting it, because there are already big rabbis in the Haredi circle who start wearing it and accepting it. And there are others who teach their people to use it besina. So there's a lot of rabbis right now who are using it, but hide them. They don't use it in public.
In America, they don't hide it. In Israel either. Anyways,
right.
Chadash Aser Min Torah. I mean, that's
right.
Yeah, typically the Haredi approach.
That's precisely why this will be the first step to a change, because they are starting to accept something hadash.
But I think that I still don't think I made my point clear enough. Well, I think what you're not taking into consideration with it is that they will never go against Rav Chaim Kanievsky, for example, or those who follow Rav Steinman, or those who follow who were the Eitznikim, the people that followed Rav Auerbach, Rav Shmuel Auerbach. They will never, ever, 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 and I know this from experience being in Haredi yeshivas here and being around Haredi people, they will never, ever put on Techeles because they know that these Rabbanim didn't do it. And I know this from firsthand experience. That
but those aren't people that he's dealing with. Talking people like in the Haredi Welt, that it's like a small little community. Those people typically don't perform conversions and don't even get involved in Israeli politics. That's like a bubble. But the average synagogue rabbi is not from Bnei Brak or Mir Sharim. I understand what you're saying. I mean, I lived in Israel. I mean, it's a cult. That's what it is. And they just do whatever the Rebbeim do and on and on. And if you've ever been into a Tish and how they attack Shrayim and stuff like that, there's no way these people are ever going to change. It's not the average Jew, although they're growing. But actually, those guys don't have a problem accepting Gerim. As a matter of fact, I heard that Satmar gets more Gerim than Balchuvas.
Yeah, Satmar's pretty. I heard Satmar is pretty. They're pretty makar of Gerim and things like this. They actually have in their community in Monroe and Kiryas Yoel, right?
Right.
There's actually a good amount of mishpachas over there that are Gerim.
Yeah, I spent Shabbos there. Like I met the Ravar and Teitelbaum. Yeah. There's a lot of Yemenites there too. Like they imported like all these Yemenites from Yemen to Kiryas Yoel, and I think also Williamsburg by Rav Zalman Leib.
I understand it's a bubble, but what I'm trying to say is that more or less the Haredi establishment, even in America, to some extent, the yeshiva sholim, as we would refer to it. I also think that you had an exception. You had Rav Belsky, right? Rav Yisrael Belsky. He went with Techeles, and he was like kind of a big chiddush in that sense because he was, and even him, he was like very quiet about it, very not open about it. It was just kind of like someone told someone that they saw that he had the Techeles strings, whatever.
Oh, well, actually, he was very open. He has a video saying that he holds its badai, the use of the halit, and and he was very open at the end of his life with the halit issue, and he encouraged his students to use. Rabbi Scheinberg also used the halit, and when he was asked about the halit, he said, "No, I used the halit," and he actually did. He used to halit.
Rav Steinberg was the guy with like 100 tzitzits on him, no?
Yes, that's right.
He had the halit on everyone?
Yeah. No. He just had one with the halit, but he said that he was Mikayim the halit. When he was asked if one should use, he said, yes, I actually do.
In the YU camp, at least, Rav Herschel Schachter is a big proponent for Techelet, and he's like one of the Rosh Hashivas of YU. He's a posik for the OU also. So in America, it's definitely not an issue, right? If you walk into a shul with the halit on, that people don't care. But in South America, the people are less educated. Even the rabbis are, because it's typically just them and their families, and Chabad doesn't use it. And Chabad also runs pretty much South America. Right? Syrians also don't use it. I mean, Sephardim, they're not big on that either.
Doesn't Breslau use the Techelet?
Oh,
Yeah, they do.
Pretty sure they hold by the Ratzinger.
Yeah, they do. They hold from the Radziner. Yeah, they it depends on which community, but yeah, they definitely. It's because one of the big rabbis in Breslov was someone named Rabbi Avraham ben Rav Nachman, and he was one of the big previous Breslovers, the previous generations. And when the Radziner Rebbe came out with his Techeles, he put it on, and then after that, a bunch of other Breslover Hasidim continued with that.
cool, man. Yeah, every Tuesday at 9:30, every Thursday. It's like Mishmar, you know. Instead of you going to
Yeah,
Ben
it's
Yehuda and getting drunk and crack square or whatever, you come hang out here.
you have now all you need is what chola and a guitar, and then
That's
you're
it.
you're set for your mishpat.
That's it. You know,